everyone, and welcome to MeowMix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven.
My name is Jerry.
So this is just our preview, predictions. Obviously, as training camp moves forward, we'll have a few more episodes where we talk about actual news coming out of there.
Mm-hmm.
But these are just our predictions. And we're going to start with a pretty exciting battle here. The third wide receiver or slot wide receiver, depending on how you look at it. But that battle is going to be real interesting. Of course, right off the bat, you talk about our second round draft pick.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, he's probably got a bit of a leg up, just that draft pedigree, all the hype.
Mm-hmm. First round talent fell to us in the second round due to some injury concerns.
Yep.
Tall, fast. He's been able to play the slot. Yeah.
Right. Comes in healthy. I mean, he's got that LSU wide receiver pedigree. So that's
worked with Joe Brady before.
Yeah. And then you've got a guy that was signed coming from Seattle. This is a Fitterer signing, David Moore, who had some success up there in Seattle in a similar role, like a third, fourth wide receiver type role.
I believe we were both excited when we signed him, just for the simple fact that, besides Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore, David Moore could come in and kind of be that filler that, gets you 500-600 yards, be that deep threat. And we were excited for him. But then, we got Terrace Marshall in the second round. And we got this other guy I'm going to speak about, Shi Smith out of South Carolina late in the draft. And I think he's perfectly fit for that slot receiver.
Yeah.
He may not get it this year, but I think in the future, he's perfectly fit. He's a little smaller guy, but very fast, runs good routes. And he reminds me a lot of a younger DJ Moore, where he caught the ball and then he can make some guys miss. And that's kind of how he did it. He wasn't the crisp route runner. And I think that's.
Yeah. Well, he fell to the sixth round. So there's some holes, but I think he played well in South Carolina, and I'm excited that he's on the team. I thought that was a really good pick late in the draft, upside pick. Yeah. And then you've got some of these other guys, Omar Bayless, who he kind of shined early in training camp last year. Well, whatever the abbreviated training camp that they had last year, got hurt, missed the whole season. So we'll see if he can kind of recapture some of that magic coming back. Zylstra and then Keith Kirkwood. Kirkwood also missed all of last season after being signed from the Saints last year. And then Zylstra played a decent amount last year for the Panthers. So you would say he's probably got the leg up on getting that last wide receiver spot. Normally they keep about 5 or 6 wide receivers. So one of these guys is not going to make the team. At least one of these guys is not making.
Yeah, I hate saying it, but this may be one of our deepest wide receiving cores we've had in a long time. I mean, there's no, I can't think of his name. The Wilford College kid that stuck around every year, the blonde.
Oh, yeah. He who must not be named.
Yes, because I can't think of it. Where he was making the roster every year. I believe Brandon Zylstra will make it just on special teams, but Omar Bayless kind of shine, like you said. So who knows? You never know. But talking about the third wide receiver, who do you think will win it by the end of training camp?
Probably David Moore.
Okay.
I think it'll be David Moore, just because he's got the NFL experience. And I think they'll start the season. I think Terrace Marshall will play a lot, but I think they'll start the season with the 3 veteran guys getting most of the snaps early.
Okay, I am predicting Ron is gone. Terrace Marshall will get it because Joe Brady and his familiarity with him. You drafted him in the second round. You have the highlights. You know what he can do. If he's healthy, I think they're going to put him in that wide receiver 3 position more than not.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy with that.
Now, we're going to go on to starting guards. I'm just going to combine these and say left and right because I think both positions are open. I don't think anybody has them on lock. And the contenders for guard are John Miller, former starter here at right guard, Pat Elfine, the Panthers' premier signing in the day one of free agent signing.
They ran right out to get him.
They ran right out to the trash heap and grabbed him. Brady Christensen, our third-round draft pick. Deontay Brown, was he our 4th or 5th round draft
I
pick?
think he was 5th round.
Yeah. David Moore, an undrafted guy, a very high touted undrafted free agent out of Grambling.
Yeah, he was one of the first ones that we signed, and people were pretty excited about him.
Yeah. Most people had him going drafted in round 5 or 6, but
Deontay Brown, a 6th round pick, by the way.
6th round?
Yep.
And Dennis Daly. This is going to be a very interesting group to watch. Unfortunately, it's a very boring position to watch, especially at camp, because they don't.
But it's a very important position. Yeah. Very important position. Yeah. And I don't know, that we're going to be able to watch camp practices and be like, oh yeah, look, John Miller's really showing out there. That's something that the coaches that coach that position, they know, and not many other people do. And I will not pretend to be an expert.
No, that is typically why we bring Jason Hewitt on whenever we talk to the line.
Right.
As he used to play the offensive line, and he knows it a lot better than us. But you love the guys.
You have to look. I think you have to look at John Miller as having certainly a leg up, starting on this team last year. And by all accounts, playing pretty well. I think he was an average starting tackle, right guard, excuse me.
Yeah, we both wanted us to re-sign him because of that. Not extraordinarily big
but I mean,
money,
when you look at who else was out there and what we needed and for the money, it seemed like a good deal. Dennis Daly, I would feel like giving him a nod at the other side, but he's always hurt. I don't know if you can trust it. He's played a lot of even left tackle and played pretty well when he's been out there. He's had some ups and downs, but he's been solid. But again, he's always hurt.
Absolutely.
So then you're looking at our rookies, basically.
Yeah.
And Elfine.
Yeah.
But let's look at our rookies, because that's neither one of us really want to talk about Elfine that much. I think you can go ahead and pencil in Elfine maybe as one of the starters, just because he's coming in. He got the contract.
Yeah.
I think they signed him hoping that he would be a starter.
So much pressure to quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold had a horrible line in the Jets. So what do the Panthers do? Go sign one of his O-linemen. One of the worst ones.
Well,
I am scratching my head on that move. I'm sorry. It just off-season worst mistake would probably be that.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
Well, we'll see. So. I mean, I think we'll know pretty quick.
Yeah.
We've got Brady Christensen listed here, and we know that he was a left tackle in college. But he has been mentioned specifically as, a guard or tackle by Matt Rule. So looking at our left tackle, which we'll talk about later, he easily could be in that competition as well.
Yes.
But we're going to put him in this guard competition as well too. So, and then you get, Christensen, Deontay Brown, and David Moore, I think all kind of, I think we're just hoping one of them, comes out, shows out and steps up.
Absolutely. I personally think this is how it's going to pan out. I think Dennis Daly is going to get the left guard position. And I think John Miller is still going to stay on the right side.
I think coming out of camp, that makes the most sense. Again, like we said, Dennis Daly, when he's been out there, has looked okay.
Yeah.
So again, just kind of average, has played well in spots. So, but I think that I think Deontay Brown could surprise some people. I really did like him.
I do too.
And I think he could easily step up and steal one of those starting spots.
I could see him stealing the right guard spot, especially he's not very mobile. And usually you put more of your mobile guys on the left side and the more road graders on the right. And that's more his bread and butter. So I could see him and Taylor Moton anchoring that right side. And I honestly feel that that's their plan going for the future, but he may not be ready at the end of camp.
There's a real scenario where you've got Brady Christensen and Deontay Brown starting at both left and right guard
Absolutely.
this season for multiple games this season. I mean, I think it's going to happen. I think Brady Christian's is probably going to be a pretty good guard in this league.
All right. Starting left tackle, we're going to have Cam Irving, free agent signing here, former number 1 draft pick, but has been a journeyman so far with Dallas and Kansas City. Brady Christensen, our 3rd round draft pick, who played left tackle for BYU, but could become a guard. Dennis Daly played left tackle before. We've discussed it already, but always injured. And it's so sad. This guy's so far down the list. Greg Little, former 2nd round pick, expected to be the franchise left tackle of the future. He may not make the team. He was healthy scratches towards the end of last year. He couldn't get on the field with Ron Rivera and company, and Coach Rule does not seem to be pleased with his production. And then Trent Scott, journeyman, left tackle, played here last year, filled in pretty well at times, left tackle, but honestly, I don't want him to be our starting left tackle going into the season. That just means some things went really wrong.
Yeah, this last guy you have listed, I think, is my pick.
Yeah. To
TBD.
be determined.
Yeah, because I would love for them to, there's going to be a left tackle that gets cut.
Or traded.
Within the next couple of weeks, or a potential trade option that is probably going to be a better option than anybody we have on the roster right now. But if we're just looking at the guys on the roster, it's so depressing because I don't even know who I would feel comfortable with.
Comfortable well, I don't think any of us feel comfortable with any of them, but I'm going to go with Brady Christensen. This as my pick. Wow. And this is why. This is my fingers crossed that I want him to be the left tackle because otherwise we're just going to keep searching. And I wanted Dennis Daly to win that left guard position because he has experience on the left tackle position that he can maybe coach him while next to him on the line if needed.
I hate that.
I'm sure you do.
I don't want that to happen.
I mean, we can't.
I don't think they drafted Brady Christensen to start at left tackle, just based on what we've heard from Matt Rule.
Yeah, because Matt Rule's been the pinnacle of truth.
I would throw another name in here potentially, Taylor Moton. I mean, they have already said that they're going to give him looks at left tackle in this camp, and if he plays as well, I mean, I know he's played a little left tackle here and there over the first couple of years of his career, but he's been pretty much a right tackle. If he comes in at left tackle and looks as good as he does at right tackle, or even close, then I would much rather throw one of these other guys at right tackle.
Yeah,
and see what Moton can do.
I agree with that. I think Trent Scott over there on the right side, but
or Daly.
Yeah.
Daly on the right side.
I agree. If Taylor Moton can move over there and be decent, I would say do that. But again, you're going to get pass rushers from both sides. Because if Taylor Moton's starting right side, they're going to send somebody on the left. If he's starting the left, they're going to send Cameron Jordan from the right side. They're just that's how it works in the NFL now.
But as we talked about with Jason Hewitt, that blind side is so important, and you're pretty much always going to send your best pass rusher from that blind side, especially if you have a weakness at left tackle, which, if it's not Moton over there, it's going to be a weakness. You're going to definitely have the weaker side be the blind side. That's why I just hope that they just go out and find somebody else, honestly.
I don't know who else is going to be out there. And if you're looking during training camp for left tackle, I mean, you're going to probably overpay and you're going to be hurting. I mean,
well, we've got the money. We've got the 3rd most cap space in the league left for this season.
But that's free agency signing. That's not for training camp or, trading.
Yeah, it is. It's cap space.
Yeah, it's cap space. But I mean, you're going to have to give up some big numbers to get a good left tackle.
If you trade, yeah. But otherwise, I mean, there's always a guy that gets cut. There's always, a veteran older veteran that gets cut that you could bring in. I mean, that happens every year.
Yeah, I don't know about a decent left tackle though being cut. It's just guards, centers. It's possible.
I mean, I wouldn't want to trade a first round pick or anything for,
No.
Unless it's just a no brainer, great starting left tackle, but you're not going to get one of those for just a first round pick. So,
no.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to, I guess just looking at these guys, if I'm going to guess, I'm going to say Cam Irving will probably come out of camp as the starting left tackle.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what he was signed for.
God, man, I still don't understand that day one.
If you were going to go after offensive linemen, there were better offensive linemen out there to go after.
Yeah, and again,
it's like they were shopping the budget bin, as soon as the store opened.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that is a great way of explaining that. Yeah, they ran to that clearance rack of,
right. It was Black Friday. All your nice things are up front, and they ran to the back
to the clearance section to the where stuff would,
where people didn't even stack things properly.
where their stack of DVDs were still there because someone has a DVD player.
Right. $5 DVD bin. That's where they got these guys. Let's do it.
All right. Here's our predictions for the most buzzed about rookie not named JC Horn. Every year, the first round draft pick gets the most buzz, that he looks phenomenal. He's the next coming of the best player at that position all the time. Jimmy Clausen got buzz.
Of course. Yeah.
Well,
people are desperate for Jimmy Clausen to be great. So I spoiled mine a little bit. I think it's going to be Trimble. I think he's going to come out and be more impressive as a pass catcher than initially advertised. People are going to be really surprised.
I'm going to go Shi Smith. And the reason I think he's very shifty, and I think he can catch a lot of passes and make a couple moves where people see him and go, wow, just because of the way he plays. I still don't think he's going to get the third wide receiver spot, but I do think people are going to take notice.
Yeah. And here's something about Jerry that you may not know is he loves the fringe wide receiver.
I do.
Yeah, he loves that wide receiver that's kind of on the edge of the roster. So I love that about Jerry. He's the biggest fan for that guy. All right, next is most under pressure veteran to perform in training camp. We've got a lot of these on the roster.
Absolutely. We're going over these camp battles, and I was like, wow, that guy could be it. But I already had mine in my head.
Yeah. Go ahead. Who you got?
I have someone we just recently talked about, Ian Thomas. I think he's under the most pressure to look like a star than anybody else, because I could see them, like you said, releasing him and just moving on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna go Will Grier. Mm-hmm. I think basically for the same reasons. He just needs to show that he's worthy of a roster spot at this point.
Yeah.
Ian Thomas, obviously, also I would definitely agree there. I have not been an Ian Thomas fan pretty much ever, so I would love for him to prove me wrong this year. Yeah, we'll be back next week. I think we'll probably going back to at least once a week here during training camp, and see what things are looking like. Hopefully, fingers crossed, no big injuries. Everybody comes out of camp healthy. That's obviously what we want to see more than anything else. So good luck to the Panthers players. If you make it down to training camp, let us know how it looks like. Send us some pictures. We'll put them on Twitter. Let us know what you see. Hopefully, we're going to try to make it down maybe to at least one practice here. But yeah, until next week, everybody be safe out there and keep pounding.